Imagine you're sitting in your living room.
Right? Just trying to finally relax after a long day.
Exactly. You're trying to relax, but every single object that is even slightly out of place feels like this, like a blaring car alarm just going off inside your head.
Oh, it's such an intense feeling.
It is. And I mean, you try to close your eyes, you try to just ignore it, but that pile of mail on the counter and those shoes left in the hallway are practically screaming at you.
Yeah, they really do demand your attention.
Right. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are going on a journey into a mindset that honestly you have absolutely encountered at some point, and we are unpacking the fascinating psychology of people who genuinely, like physically, cannot relax until their home is perfectly clean.
It really is a profound shift, moving from looking at a clean room as just an aesthetic choice to actually seeing it as an external extension of someone's nervous system.
Yes, exactly. And our guide for this exploration, it isn't a team of neuroscientists or anything like that.
Right, which makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, we are pulling our insights today from the source notes of a man named Dave Hartzell. So Dave is an HVAC veteran. He has spent 45 years in the heating and air conditioning trade down in Kingfisher, Oklahoma.
Wow, 45 years. That is a massive amount of experience.
Right. Like, think about that for a second. For half a century, this man has been carrying these heavy tools into thousands upon thousands of homes. I mean, he's fixing furnaces, sure, but crucially, he is observing.
He's paying attention to the environment.
Exactly. He has learned to read these environments and the people in them almost instantly. So this isn't some theoretical academic data.
No, it's unfiltered field research.
Yeah, from a tradesman who has basically spent his entire adult life paying very, very close attention to human behavior.
Which completely grounds the analysis, I think, because, what he has observed over those 4.5 decades really challenges that dismissive cultural trope.
The one about people just being like neat freaks.
Exactly, that people with pristine homes are just neat freaks or difficult personalities. Dave recognized really early on that when he steps into a home with, clear countertops, immaculate floors, and this undeniable sort of settled quiet.
He's not just walking into a tidy room.
Right. He isn't just entering a tidy room. He is walking directly into someone's mind.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because Dave realized that having a clean home, it isn't about being fancy, right? Or trying to impress the neighbors.
Not at all.
For certain people, the state of their physical space is just directly tethered to the state of their internal biology. Like, if the house is a mess, their nervous system is actually sounding an alarm.
Yeah, and to understand the mechanism behind that, we really have to look at evolutionary biology, right?
Yeah.
And how the brain processes its environment.
Because it's always scanning, isn't it?
Exactly. Every human brain is continuously scanning its surroundings for anomalies. I mean, it is this ancient survival mechanism designed to detect predators or, locate resources.
But for most of us, we don't even notice it.
Right. For the vast majority of us, the scanning is just low-level background noise. Like, we step over a pile of laundry for a week and barely even register that it's there.
Oh, guilty as charged on that one.
Right. But for the people Dave is analyzing in his notes, that scanning function is dialed up significantly. For them, order and cleanliness serve as these really essential primal signals of safety, predictability, and control.
Which means, I guess, that leaving disorder around signals the exact opposite.
Yes.
Like, disorder isn't just a mess to them, it's an active threat.
Exactly. Disorder registers to their primal brain as an unresolved problem. It is unpredictability. And, Dave's notes point to two specific psychological concepts operating simultaneously here.
What are they?
Sensory sensitivity and conscientiousness.
Okay, break that down for me.
Sure. So sensory sensitivity basically dictates the volume of environmental input. A person with low sensitivity, they can easily filter out visual clutter.
Like the laundry pile.
Right. But a highly sensitive person cannot mute that input. To them, the visual noise of a cluttered countertop is just incredibly loud.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then the second part.
Then you combine that with conscientiousness, which is a core personality trait that drives a person toward order, quality, and completion. Highly conscientious people are fundamentally wired to finish what they start.
That makes so much sense. I mean, Dave summarizes this beautifully in his notes. He says, the clean home is how she thinks.
That is such a great way to put it.
Right. It is not a clinical disorder or some generalized anxiety. It is literally a functional feature of their cognition. And, looking at that intersection of sensory sensitivity and conscientiousness, it reminds me of something.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's like trying to work on a computer that has way too many tabs open on the web browser.
Oh, that's a brilliant analogy.
Yeah, like every single piece of clutter, every dirty dish in the sink, every jacket tossed over a chair, it functions as an open tab.
What's fascinating here is that highly conscientious people simply cannot set things down to, deal with later.
Because it just stays open.
Exactly. The intention to clean up tomorrow does not relieve the cognitive burden today. That open tab in your analogy is constantly refreshing in the background, and it's draining their mental RAM.
Wow, so they're literally losing processing power.
Yeah, the unfinished task has actual psychological weight. It physically sits in their mind, eating up processing power until the loop is closed.
So when the homeowner is watching Dave bring his tools into their, pristine living room, they aren't hovering because they suspect he's going to steal the silver or something.
No, not at all.
They're watching because every new object introduced to that carefully calibrated space is a new open browser tab. They're just monitoring the system.
Exactly. The space itself is functional for them. It is the mechanism they use to maintain their internal biological equilibrium.
And that biological reality, it really shifts how we have to look at the act of cleaning itself, doesn't it?
It completely changes it. We move from the source of the stress spike directly to the cure. And Dave's field notes get incredibly specific about the physical reality of, for instance, scrubbing a floor.
Yeah, the notes mention that cleaning is genuine, measurable stress relief.
Huh.
Like cortisol, the primary stress hormone that keeps the body in that low-level state of fight or flight, it literally drops.
Which is amazing.
It is. But the biological mechanism behind that is what is so compelling to me.
Yeah.
It isn't just the distraction of doing a chore, right?
No, it's deeper than that. The mechanism relies on a closed-loop feedback system. Humans have this deeply ingrained evolutionary craving for visible completion.
Like we need to actually see the results of our work.
We really do. We need to see the impact of our actions on the physical world. So when you clean, you engage the parasympathetic nervous system. You see the dirt, you apply physical effort, the dirt is removed, and order is restored.
Boom. Problem solved.
Right. And the brain's reward center releases dopamine, which actively signals the amygdala, the brain's alarm bell, to just stand down. It is an undeniable sequence of cause and effect communicating to the brain, you have agency, you have control over your environment, the threat is neutralized.
That is wild when you contrast that closed-loop feedback system with, the modern world you and I navigate every day.
Oh, it's night and day.
We live in an era where almost all of our problems are entirely abstract and our progress is completely invisible.
Yeah, so much of what we do leaves no trace.
We clear out an email inbox, but there is no physical evidence of that effort anywhere. We close Jira tickets, we send Slack messages, we move digital columns on a screen.
It's all just pixels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can work an exhausting, incredibly stressful 10-hour day at a desk and have absolutely zero physical proof in the real world that you accomplished anything at all.
Leaving the brain in this state of chronic low-grade suspension, because that evolutionary craving for visible completion is never fully satisfied, right? Since the work never actually ends.
Which is exactly why taking a sponge and some soapy water to a kitchen floor is so powerful. Dave calls it the concrete win.
I love that phrase.
Me too. In a world of invisible abstract stress, scrubbing a floor gives you a concrete, undeniable victory in about 8 minutes.
You can just step back and look at it.
Yeah, you look at the gleaming tile, and your brain finally gets to close a loop. The open tab isn't just minimized, it is forcefully shut.
It satisfies that deep neurological need for resolution in an otherwise chaotic world. The mental RAM is instantly freed up, which, completely explains the measurable drop in cortisol.
Okay, so we have established this incredibly delicate neurological balance. The homeowner really relies on this clean space to regulate their nervous system, to think clearly, to lower their cortisol.
Yes, it's their sanctuary.
Right, and into this perfectly calibrated psychological sanctuary walks an HVAC technician, wearing heavy work boots, carrying greasy tools, metal screws, and fiberglass insulation.
It's a recipe for disaster.
The potential for conflict here is just massive.
We are looking at the collision of two completely different environments. And this is really where Dave Hartzell's 45 years of field experience become critical.
Because you saw this happening, right?
He recognized the high stakes of that collision early on, which led him to institute a really strict rule for his company. He said, treat the customer's home like it's your grandmother's house.
That sounds folksy, but Dave applies it with absolute mechanical precision.
He does. He doesn't just mean be polite.
Right. It means thick drop cloths go down on the floor before a technician even touches a single piece of equipment. It means picking up every solitary screw, every tiny shred of cardboard packaging, every stray bit of copper wire,
Nothing gets left behind.
and it even means taking the time to wipe away the greasy handprints on the furnace cabinet before leaving.
Because Dave understands that to the highly conscientious homeowner, a mess left by a worker does not register as just a minor annoyance or, a slight breach of etiquette. He uses that very specific visceral comparison we talked about. It registers to them like a car alarm going off. They can literally feel the presence of the dirty filter that was set down on their clean carpet in their nervous system.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second because I guarantee someone listening is thinking this exact thing right now.
All right, let's hear it.
Are these customers just being overly precious or difficult? I mean, holding a blue-collar worker who is doing heavy, dirty mechanical labor to the standard of an operating room feels like an impossible, almost unfair demand.
It can definitely look that way from the outside.
Right. Why should a technician have to coddle a homeowner who gets a biological stress spike over like a dusty fingerprint?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really reframes the entire interaction. The customer isn't holding a petty grievance, and they really aren't asking to be coddled. They are doing something much more sophisticated.
What's that?
They are gathering data.
Gathering data about the mechanic.
Yes, they are looking for honest signals about the worker's hidden professional standards. I mean, think about it from the perspective of the homeowner. They likely know absolutely nothing about the complex mechanics of an HVAC system.
I certainly don't. I just want the cold air to turn on.
Exactly. They cannot verify if the technician properly torqued a hidden fitting inside the ductwork. They cannot see if the electrical connections inside the panel are perfectly seated, or if the refrigerant charge is balanced to the exact ounce.
Right. The actual mechanical labor is completely invisible to them.
Precisely. They lack the technical expertise to judge the work itself, so they have to look for proxies.
Okay. So visible care becomes the evidence of invisible care.
Yes. If a technician is meticulous enough to lay down a drop cloth over a clean carpet without even being prompted, it serves as a highly reliable indicator that they are equally meticulous about the mechanical details the customer cannot see.
That is fascinating. The cleanliness is literally a proxy for technical competence.
It really is. The homeowner is simply using their own internal standard of conscientiousness as a filter to judge the trustworthiness of the stranger in their home.
That completely flips the script.
Yeah.
Like, a technician who leaves a mess isn't losing a lifelong customer because of the mess itself.
No, the mess is just a symptom.
Right. The customer assumes the technician did shoddy mechanical work because they left a mess. They treated a functional, highly regulated environment like a dirty job site, broadcasting just a complete lack of attention to detail.
Which is the very last trait you want from the person fixing the highly combustible machine that keeps your house from freezing in the winter.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so if the highly conscientious homeowner is using cleanliness as a proxy to find someone they can trust, who is the ideal person to earn that trust?
Well, we have to flip the perspective, right? From the homeowner gathering data to the technician standing in the living room.
Yes. And this is where Dave's genius in building his company really shines, I think.
Oh, absolutely, because he realized that the technicians he trusts the most, like the elite workers he would send into any home, anywhere, without a second thought, they actually share the exact same internal wiring as those highly sensitive homeowners.
The top-tier technicians are walking into the house with the exact same brain.
It's incredible.
They possess the same sensitivity and the exact same high conscientiousness. I mean, Dave points out that they don't clean up the job site because of some external enforcement.
Right, they aren't doing it just to check a box.
They don't put down drop cloths because a manager is checking on them. They do it because they physically cannot stand leaving a space worse than they found it. Like, an incomplete job bothers them on a biological level, too.
It is entirely an internal drive. Dave notes that these top-tier technicians, they keep their work trucks meticulously organized.
Which makes sense because disorganization costs them time.
Exactly. And the visual chaos of a messy truck feels like a car alarm going off in their own heads, too. They are managing their own mental RAM.
They are the exact same technicians who finish every single piece of paperwork before they even back out of the customer's driveway.
Yeah, they won't leave it for later.
Because if they leave that paperwork undone, it becomes an open browser tab. It will just nag at them for the entire drive home. They cannot relax until the loop is definitively closed.
They understand the fundamental difference between a job being done and a job being done enough.
Oh, that's a great distinction.
Yeah, because to a highly conscientious person, there is no such concept as done enough. It is a binary state. A task is either complete and correct, or it remains an active stressor.
So what does this all mean? Look at the beautiful irony we have uncovered here today.
It really is quite poetic.
Right? The very trait, that extreme conscientiousness that makes a homeowner hypersensitive to a mess. The trait that makes them seem demanding or even difficult to an outside observer. It is the exact same psychological trait that makes an HVAC technician exceptional at their job.
It is a psychological matching game playing out right in the middle of a living room. The homeowner and the top-tier technician are essentially speaking the exact same nonverbal language of order and completion. So when the technician puts down the drop cloth, picks up the tiny scraps of insulation, and takes before and after photos of the equipment, they are broadcasting on a frequency that only the highly conscientious homeowner can fully receive.
They are communicating, I see your standards and I share them.
Right. It establishes an immediate, profound level of trust because true quality always stems from internal standards.
You know, understanding this psychology really changes how we view the spaces we inhabit and the people around us.
It gives you a lot more empathy, I think.
It does. If you are listening to this deep dive right now and you are someone who desperately needs a clean home to think clearly, like if you are the person who feels your cortisol drop only after the kitchen counters are completely cleared off at night, you are not being difficult.
No, not at all.
You are simply wired for quality and order. Your environment is your cognitive workspace. And conversely, if you are entering another person's space, you just have to remember that how you treat that physical environment is a direct broadcast of your own internal standards.
Dave Hartzell showed us that in the HVAC world, visible care is proof of invisible care.
It's a powerful lesson.
It really is. And it raises an important question for you to mull over today. In your own profession or daily life, what are the drop cloths you use? What are the small, visible details you leave behind that tell the people around you how much you care about the things they cannot see?